You're excited.
It's Tuesday. It's an off day.
Well, so
We're hoping you're on today.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, it was. Seemed like it.
First of all, we'll start with something easy. Any update on Ricky Ray?
Yes. He had x-rays yesterday, and there's nothing broken. Just bruised in the chest, collarbone area. Just real sore. And right now, again, we all know that they're on that break, and it's just more of a day-to-day thing, and we'll reassess when he comes back next week on Monday. But from a structural point, everything's intact and everything's good in that manner.
Are you on a break, and what's going on with the evaluation? What's going on with the football team?
Am I on a break? The players are on a break. Yeah, I'm here with you guys. So, no, I'm in the office and been meeting with Rick and Dan and Ed and Paul via phone and just reassessing our team and looking at every aspect of the football aspect, the football part regarding how can we go forward, what were our shortcomings and how do we get better. So it's just evaluation. I think that's what most teams do at this point, and especially we're 1-6. So we got to find out why are we 1-6 and how we go forward and then address those areas.
What have you said to the players on this break?
Well, what I told them after the game was to take away, to take a couple days to get away from football, spend time with their families, relax, do whatever they like doing. But prior to coming back, make sure they take an opportunity to sit there and think about what kind of player do they want to be, what kind of team do we want to be. Because we've talked to we're blue in the face. And it's not about talking, it's about going out there and just shutting up our mouths and going out there and playing and doing what we have to do to be a good football team.
Richie, have you made any decisions on taking players off the roster? Will you do that this week?
The only decision that we made right now is I looked at the film yesterday. The coaches were in yesterday morning as far as evaluating their players because I wanted to have their evaluations prior to them departing, and just more or less just kind of sitting and kind of pinpointing. There's a lot of areas that we need to address, but just slowly pinpointing. I guess the problem areas and what solutions can we come up with it. So there's no decisions on anything. It's just been discussions as far as trying to identify things and what options that we have as far as trying to improve it.
It would seem to be a no-brainer that by the next time you take to the field, there'll be players missing from last game's roster.
Well, I just think that, I don't know what's a no-brainer or not. I just think that what we have to do is we have to look at and see where we go from here, from overall, how we do things, what we're doing, So all I know that, at this point of the season with our break, we're 1-6, and that's unacceptable, and we can't continue to operate in the fashion that we have operated in.
How concerned are you that some players may quit on this team or quit on me?
Well, you like to never think that anyone quits on themselves, because it's not so much quitting on me, it's not quitting on the organization, it's quitting on themselves, because that's where everything starts off with it, and quitting on your teammates that are battling for you. So you like to think that no one's quitting on anyone, and there hasn't been an indication to me that no one's quitting. I think when you quit, again, what's your definition of quit? When they quit, it means that they haven't shown up, and still everyone's coming to work and going out there, going on the field, and giving forth their effort. It might not be the effort or the final results that we all want, but I do believe that everyone has showed up.
Richie, we've talked a lot about the team believing in each other. We haven't really touched upon the coaches believing in one another. Do you feel like you guys are together in that department?
Well, I think so. Again, the only person that knows that is you as an individual. And the way that they've gone through and prepared and communicated and gone out there and taught. There hasn't been any strife among the coaches, so I would like to think that everything. Is everything hunky dory? No, nothing's ever hunky dory. We're sitting at 1-6. But I think, overall, the coaches as the players have the best interest of the team as far as trying to turn this around. Because the reality is that we dug ourselves a pit. The only way that we're going to fill it up is by each person taking it upon themselves and doing what they have to do within their role and within their attributes and their skill set to get us out of the rut that we're in.
Everybody talks about what a good coach you are. You're an excellent players coach. You understand the dynamics of being a player. But when you see the kind of effort on Sunday, how does that affect you as a coach?
It affects me greatly because I think you play this game because you love this game. You play this game because it becomes a part of you. It's a passion. I think whatever you choose, because you choose to do this game. So when you choose to do something, I think there's a certain amount of emotional attachment that comes with it. And when we go out there and we perform, it has nothing to do with the performance, the bottom line. It's going out there and playing the game because you enjoy the game, playing with heart, playing with passion, playing with a sense of urgency and energy, because to me that's what makes up why you play the game. And when we perform like that, I kind of take it personal. It's a personal attack. You're doing something that you're doing, that you say you enjoy doing, then we should see it. And to me, it's sad. It's sad, when we have to. 7 weeks into the season, we have to address the passion. We have to address the emotional aspect of our football team.
Do you get a feeling when they start a game that way, Richie, that it just, if by week 7, week 6, they haven't come out of the gate with the passion, that they simply won't come out for any, whatever it is, you can't look at yourself sometimes, but maybe they just can't for some reason.
Well, I don't know, because I think when you're dealing with human beings, and human beings are, as simple as we may be, we're very complicated, and it's like leading up to the week. I felt very good about us going into the game against Calgary. We had a good week of practice. The morale, it was the best day 3 that we had that I've been here, and I just felt very confident, that we're ready to play. And then we go out there, and things don't work out the way we had intended, and it just seemed like it's just not there. Why? I wish I could point my finger at why, but it didn't happen. And why it didn't happen, I have no idea. I guess it's kind of like, when you wake up one day, you feel good, you do the same things the next day, and you wake up and it seems like you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. And from an emotional perspective from our team, because there's individuals that, I'm not going to throw everyone in that group, but from our football team, because we are a team, we didn't have that energy, we didn't have that emotion, we didn't have that drive that it takes to go out there and compete on a football team. At the same time, again, this is 7 weeks into the season, so to me it's an issue where, when we're sitting here talking on an off day, we're not talking about X's and O's, we're talking about the morale, we're talking about the emotional state of your football team, and that's a major concern.
You said when Danny was let go, it should have been you. Have you said to Rick or the board of directors that if they want you gone, you will tender your resignation? Have you offered that up?
I look at it as something that I don't talk about. It's those decisions I have nothing to do with. I don't worry about decisions I have no control over. My job is to lead this football team and to go out there and do the best job I can on a day-to-day basis. And if they see fit, then they see fit. But to me, other than all you guys being here, this is a normal work day for me.
Is it too late to salvage this season?
Is it too late? No, I never think anything's ever too late. I think the reality is we're 1-6, but also the reality is too we're one game out of a playoff spot, because BC has struggled and Winnipeg has struggled. And when you look at the CFL, there's going to be 6 teams that make it and 2 teams that don't make it. So we have an opportunity to salvage the season, not to maybe get to where we had aspirations at the beginning, possibly finishing first in the West, but we have an opportunity to get into the postseason, and it's about getting in there and then peaking at the right time and playing well.
We're still talking about a couple of incidents that occurred in that game on Sunday. The first, the boot stomping on the sideline, where your player was victim.
Boot stomping?
Well, when
the
Binjo was on top of Andre Talbot.
On that sideline. Uh-huh.
So how do you react to that, and the fact that you had some offensive linemen standing idly by while one of your receivers was getting beat up?
Well, you want people to come to your rescue. I mean, we're a football team out there. You want to be smart about your situation, but you want to protect because they're your teammates. And when you go to battle, you go to battle. And it's important that, we say that we have each other's back, but again, it comes back to we talk to ourselves or blue in the face, over the first 6 weeks of the season, is that it's not about talking, it's about going out there and proving that by that's action. And that's you don't say you show your support, you show your support by the action and the things that you do, not the things that you say.
So are you saying that you would like to see? What
I say is when we start every football game, when we go into the locker room, we are a team. You know, we're as one. And whether we're on the field or off the field, it's important that we all understand that we support each other because we are a family. And that's just the way I was brought up. That's what I believe in, is that, you know, through thick and thin, that you support the person next to you.
Richie, how tough is it to make a bunch of personnel changes at this point in the season, or is it a little easier with a bunch of NFL cuts coming on?
Well, I think that, you know, the thing about NFL cuts is, you know, they're still practicing, you know, and we have some guys targeted that we want to look at that we feel could help our football team, but at the same time they're still in training camp. I think you're always looking to improve your football team, and when you talk about making a wholesale changes, I think you have to be careful, because in order to make changes, you also have to have players to replace them. You know, and I don't believe that you make changes just for the sake of making changes. You're making changes to improve your football team, not just to do something. You know, so I think if you lose a good football player, then you feel there's a good football player that can come in there and do the job.
How difficult is it to do that without a general manager?
Wow. Is it difficult? I think anything is difficult. I think, you know, we have a protocol as far as how we operate around here now that, you know, Danny Machocha's not here. And the difficulty is, it's not difficult, it's pulling the plug as far as making the changes. It's bringing in the players. It's still having the plan that we have in as far as becoming a better football team. So in that manner, it's not difficult. It's just going about doing it and targeting the people that we see that we feel that can come in and make an impact on our team.
Richie, in any kind of job, you have to feel comfortable to be successful, I think. And I just wonder, you sort of addressed the pressure that you're under, and do you try not
pressure?
to...
I never used the word pressure.
Well, I'm assuming that you're under pressure. Maybe not. I don't know.
Is what we're experiencing now any different than the start of the season? See, I don't look at it as being a conditional thing. You know, it's an unconditional thing. You know, the pressure to be a head coach, to win, is there whether you're 6-1 or whether you're 1-6. To me, the pressure to be the best that you can be at whatever position you are, and the position I hold is no more now than it was before I accepted the position. You know, my expectations for us, for our football team, is to win football games. Plain and simple. It has nothing to do with us being 1-6. To be the best coach that I can be. That's the pressure that I put on myself. So whether we're 1-6 and we're struggling, has nothing to do with it, because I want to go out there and be the best coach I can be. I want us to be the best team that we can be, plain and simple. It's not a conditional thing, it's an unconditional thing.
Richie, you said that along, you thought you had the personnel here that could turn this thing around. You look at it now, and you look at get into the lines here for personnel.
I still think we do have the personnel here. You know, does that mean that you stay at status quo? I think it goes back to that saying, if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always done. And right now the reality is that we're in 1-6 with what we've done. So you have to look to make changes. What changes we make, some are easier than others. But you can't stay status quo, because the results are 1-6. You know, so it's all about trying to get better. And you know, that's the business that we're in. The business that we're in, we're all brought here to win football games. And right now we're not winning football games. So there's got to be, you know, there's got to be a change. And in some regards, you know, there was a change that happened a few weeks ago. You know, so, but that doesn't pinpoint the problem. There's other issues and stuff like that, because still we still you know, we're struggling as a football team. You know, I'm not
pondering changing the offense coordinator.
No, I'm pondering what can we do to identify why we are the way we are, and how can we go about getting better. You know, so I think, you know, like I said, you know, sitting here and speaking to the powers to be that I spoke with you earlier about, we're evaluating every situation. I'm evaluating every situation and seeing what can we do. You know, how can we get better?
What are those options?
You know, I think anything's an option. You know, but it starts off with, you look at yourself, look at what we're doing, look at how we're teaching, looking about, you know, are we asking them to do something that's unrealistic? You know, are we asking them to do something and they're not getting it done? If they're not getting it done, why they're not getting it done?
It would seem, though, another coach would help the process here, because you can do two jobs. The offensive needs help, the defense needs help. You know,
you say that because we haven't been productive. The bottom line is, if we had made a few more tackles, if we had been in the gaps, we had caught the balls, if we had scored, if we had prevented them from scoring, we wouldn't have the same issues. The bottom line is, as a football team, we have to be productive out on the football field, and we haven't been. You know, and what we're trying to do is trying to address the reasons why we're not, and go forward regarding the answers that we've come up with.
Richie, the fans are talking about the antics of Kelly Campbell at the end of the game. How much is that a concern for you?
You have to refer me to what antics was he
Well,
doing?
he threw the football, he went crazy after the non-call, if you will, in the end zone.
Well, I think there's always the thing that I always believe is that, you know, we have to be a pro in all aspects of it. You know, and it comes back to character, and at the same time, we're human beings, and you know, I'm sure not only himself but other players, there's a certain amount of, in all of us, there's a certain amount of frustration that has built up, and sometimes that, you know, we kind of go over the edge, you know, and you know, some of the things that happened in the game the other day, they will be addressed when we all get back, because we want to. We will be professional in the way that we behave ourselves, because that's the Eskimo way, and that's the way that we are going to be.
Team fines?
Let's just say there's going to be, the situation will be addressed, you know, because it's unacceptable. You know, it's again, it comes back to an unconditional thing. You know, you want to be able to behave, or we will be able to behave, whether it's a high thing or it's a low thing, because this is what's expected. It's not we want to be unconditional in our approach, because that's, to me, that's what being a pro is.
Be surprised if you weren't the head coach of this team and put the next man off the field.
Well, you know, nothing ever surprises me, you know, because that's life. That's life. Will I be surprised? You know, it's something I don't dwell on. You know, we all understand that what we signed up for, and the bottom line is we win football games. And if I'm still here, then we'll continue to go forward. You know, if I'm not here, I will continue to go forward. I would have, but you guys.
No, we're done.
You done? We'll see you guys next week then, right? All right.